$17 million stolen. How did it all go so wrong? In the crisp, chilly October of 1997, a man named David Gant, a seemingly unremarkable security guard with a quiet demeanor, orchestrated one of the most audacious heists in American history. He boldly snatched $17 million from the impenetrable steel-reinforced vaults of the Loomis Fargo Armored Car Company in North Carolina, a theft that sent shockwaves across the nation and left law enforcement scrambling. This was no random act of desperation. It was the culmination of a plan years in the making, a meticulously crafted scheme born from Gant's growing obsession with wealth and power. He envisioned it as the ultimate victory of greed over justice, a flawless execution that would secure his future. Yet what unfolded was a far cry from his grand vision. Blunders, betrayals, and a relentless cascade of catastrophic mistakes transformed this high-stakes operation into a laughable, almost theatrical fiasco. As the FBI launched a relentless pursuit, tracing every dollar with forensic precision and unwavering determination, the fragile trust among Gant and his ragtag crew dissolved into a chaotic free-for-all. Millions in cash became entangled with mutual deceit, spinning a narrative that's as dark as it is absurdly entertaining. A story that would captivate the public for years to come. So what caused this carefully plotted heist to collapse into total disaster? This documentary will take you on an exhaustive, step-by-step journey through that fateful night, the tense weeks that followed, the dramatic courtroom battles, and the lingering aftermath, peeling back the layers to reveal the raw, hilarious, and deeply human underbelly of the criminal underworld. Prepare yourself for a tale of ambition, folly, and redemption, or the lack thereof. David Gant wasn't always a criminal mastermind. For over a decade, he'd worked as a low-key guard at Loomis Fargo, a job that paid the bills but offered little excitement. His days were spent patrolling the same routes, checking the same locks, and nodding to the same drivers, until a seed of discontent took root. That seed grew into an all-consuming obsession, fueled by late-night fantasies of escaping his mundane life. He began assembling a small, flawed team. Steve, the brash money counter with a gambling problem. Mike, the impulsive dreamer who craved luxury. And Kelly, the quiet strategist with a hidden, ruthless streak. Gant spent countless nights hunched over maps and surveillance footage, studying the armored car's daily route with military precision, noting every turn, every stop, and every blind spot where security cameras failed to reach. He even rented a dilapidated garage on the town's outskirts, a dingy hideout with leaking pipes and creaking floors, as the perfect place to stash his fortune. The heist day arrived with a palpable tension in the air, a storm brewing on the horizon. Gant and his three accomplices slipped into matching uniforms, their pulses racing as they approached the armored vehicle under the cover of dusk. With a swift, practiced motion, they pried open the heavy steel door, revealing $17 million in neatly stacked cash bundles, a sight that must have felt like discovering a pirate's long-lost treasure. The plan was deceptively simple. Transfer the money to the garage, lock it away behind rusted doors, and wait out the inevitable scrutiny from authorities. But from the very first moment, the operation began to unravel like a poorly woven tapestry. The first crack in their armor came from Steve, the team's self-proclaimed financial expert with a notorious weakness for poker tables. As he began counting the cash with a cocky grin, one of the overstuffed bags split open, sending a torrent of dollar bills fluttering across the grimy garage floor. "We'll pick it up later," he said with a lazy shrug, leaving the mess to pile up, a decision that would prove costly and foreshadow the chaos to come. The second major misstep fell to Mike, the group's wide-eyed optimist who'd always dreamed of a life of glamour. Unable to resist the allure of instant wealth, he smuggled a hefty portion of the loot home, then compounded his error by using his real name to purchase a gleaming red sports car with leather seats and a roaring engine. That extravagant buy lit up the FBI's radar like a beacon in the dark, a mistake so glaring it almost seemed intentional. Meanwhile, Gant, blissfully unaware of his team's reckless blunders, pressed ahead, convinced his hiding spot was impregnable and his plan still salvageable. But the seeds of betrayal were already taking root, growing stronger with each passing day. A week into their supposed triumph, Kelly, the team's reserved planner with a sharp mind and sharper ambitions, made a stunning about-face, Driven by a mix of fear, greed, and a desire to save herself, she approached the FBI with a calculated offer, promising to reveal every detail of Gant's scheme, from the initial planning stages to the garage hideout, in exchange for a substantial reward and a shield from prosecution. This betrayal thrust the case into the hands of FBI agent Sarah Mitchell, a seasoned investigator renowned for her unyielding determination and a track record of cracking the toughest cases. Mitchell wasted no time, assembling a crack team of analysts, field agents, and forensic experts to follow the money's trail with surgical accuracy. They stormed the garage, finding cash bags still strewn about like discarded trash, some half buried under dust, and traced Mike's flashy purchase back to its source with a trail of receipts and security footage. As Gant lounged in the opulence of a high-end resort, sipping champagne, dining on gourmet meals, and believing he'd outwitted the law, Mitchell's net closed in with ruthless efficiency. Her team monitored his every move, phone calls, room service orders, even the time he spent by the pool, building an airtight case. Just 12 days after the heist, Gant was cornered in his suite, startled awake by the sound of boots on the carpet, handcuffed and hauled away in a blur of flashing lights. The $17 million, or at least most of it, remained a tantalizing mystery, with team members turning on each other in a desperate scramble to shift the blame, their voices rising in a cacophony of accusations during interrogations. The trial that followed was a media frenzy, a 3-month saga that filled headlines and courtroom galleries, exposing every twist, turn, and folly of this imperfect crime. Gant was sentenced to 20 years behind bars after a grueling legal battle, while Steve, Mike, and Kelly faced their own judgments, Steve for negligence, Mike for extravagance, and Kelly for treachery, each receiving sentences tailored to their contributions to the collapse. The FBI's victory didn't just deliver justice, it also illuminated the heist's absurdly comedic flaws with a spotlight that refused to dim. Steve's forgotten cash pile became a symbol of their carelessness, a pile that grew moldy over days. Mike's car obsession turned into a cautionary tale of vanity, with the sports car repossessed as evidence, and Kelly's betrayal added a bitter twist of irony, her reward money dwarfed by the shame she carried. For viewers tuning in, it was a roller coaster of shock and laughter, a story that unfolded like a dark comedy on a grand stage, replayed on newsreels and talk shows. Yet beneath the humor lay a profound lesson about the fragility of crime, a lesson etched into the public consciousness. That $17 million, a dazzling dream that glittered for one fleeting night, crumbled into dust under the crushing weight of stupidity, mistrust, and human error, leaving behind a legacy of cautionary tales. Behind the cold, unforgiving bars of his prison cell, David Gant began to grapple with the wreckage of his choices in the dim light of a flickering bulb. I thought money could buy everything, he confessed in a rare, trembling interview conducted through a scratched plexiglass window, his voice thick with regret and exhaustion. But I lost my freedom and my family. The cost was staggering. His wife had filed for divorce in the weeks following his arrest. His children refused to visit, sending back his letters unopened, leaving him to face a desolate solitude of his own making. The wealth he'd chased had slipped through his fingers like sand, replaced by an echoing emptiness that filled the long nights. He spoke of sleepless hours, haunted by the faces of his loved ones, and the weight of his decisions pressed down like a physical burden. This confession serves as a haunting, universal reminder of greed's devastating toll, a lesson that resonates beyond the prison walls. The $17 million heist stands as a striking duality, hilarious in its blunders, yet tragic in its outcome, a story that has been dissected by criminologists and storytellers alike. The FBI's relentless pursuit, led by Sarah Mitchell's iron will, proved that justice, with enough grit, determination, and teamwork, can triumph over even the boldest and most elaborate schemes. Mitchell herself later reflected on the case as a testament to the power of persistence, a career-defining moment that earned her a promotion. Now, it's your turn to weigh in on this complex saga. Do you believe Gant deserved a chance at redemption, a path to rebuild his shattered life, or should his foolish mistakes seal his fate behind bars forever, a permanent mark of his hubris? Consider the ripple effects on his family, his accomplices, and the community left to pick up the pieces. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's hear your perspective on this tangled web of crime and consequence. Don't miss out. Subscribe to our channel for more captivating real crime stories every week, each one a journey into the human psyche. Hit that bell icon to stay in the loop and join us as we uncover the next chapter in this endless saga of justice and intrigue.